Okay. All right, we're recording. Hello and welcome to this case study video. Today we're talking to one of my clients, Katie Peacock, who has recently gone through my program, the Biz Reboot, and she's had some amazing results from the program, which I'm so excited to share with you today. And she's just been such a joy to work with because she's one of those people who really jumps in, takes action, shows up for every single call, and really does the work. So I'm sure you guys are going to love her story as well, because if there's anybody whose story would be really relevant, it's Katie, right? Because she's gone through a lot of other courses before she came into the program. And when she came into the program, she's really ready and willing to do the work. And she's gotten some amazing results from doing it. So super excited to record this video today. So welcome, Katie. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad that we are recording this today.
Thanks, Satya. I'm excited to talk to you.
All right, awesome. So do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell the humans what you do?
Yeah, so I am a conversion copywriter for women online entrepreneurs, and I specialize in sales copy that is based on voice of customer research, so it's guaranteed to connect with your target audience.
Oh, I love it. It's such a great introduction. Great way to introduce yourself. Awesome. So tell me a bit more, like how long have you been in business so far?
So I've been working for myself. I've been self-employed for the last 3 years. But I shifted the focus of my business at the beginning of 2018 to copywriting exclusively from translation, reading, and editing type work. So when I started the Biz Reboot, it had been about a year and 3 months since I had been working on this particular business.
Got it. Okay, very cool. So just before you joined the program, like tell me a little bit more about like what was going on? Like what was going on in your world? Like how were things going with business? What kind of inspired you to join the program, and what inspired you to feel like, or what made you feel like this was the right time to do it?
Yeah, so I joined in May 2019, and around February of that year, I really feel like I reached kind of rock bottom, where I thought, okay, it's been over a year of doing this. I can't keep just doing the same thing over and over without getting the results that I'm looking for. And I started getting some traction early in the spring, and then I started freaking out. And that's when I realized that I needed to get some help, because otherwise I was not going to be able to translate that small success into bigger success. I saw myself just kind of self-sabotaging and ending up, in the same place.
Right, interesting. So tell me a little bit more. Like, so when you're talking about, like, you had a little bit of success in spring, and then you could see yourself like starting to freak out. Like, what was really going on in your head at that point of time?
I just knew I'd spent the last year kind of working on my business, my website, and putting systems into place. But packages were one thing that I had been, keeping an eye on your content for a long time, and I hadn't really figured it out. And so I was a bit worried that with this client work, I was going to get completely submerged in doing the client work and let that work in my business, fade into the background, and just kind of end up constantly reacting to things instead of having a strategy behind it that would let me actually enjoy the process of providing those services.
Got it. Right. So it's just that when you were getting clients in early this year, like in spring, they were just random projects that were like all kinds of shapes and sizes, but they were not like strategically tied into like the kind of high level business model aspect of it, right? Like how many clients do I bring on? What kind of packages am I selling? And how is it going to contribute to the amount of money that I want to make? So how does the Biz Reboot help you with that process? Like, do you have more clarity on that right now?
Absolutely. So one of the biggest things that I really wanted to work with you on was strategic packages. And I think I saw your live webinar twice. I watched the one with Tarzan, and I think another one that you did on your own, and took a few notes about, how to do like intro, signature, retainer offers. But I hadn't made it work on my own. So I knew I needed some hands-on help from you. And getting that help made it really clear, like how many people I needed to start conversations with, how many people I needed to book calls with, and which packages in which combinations I needed to be selling in order to reach my monthly income goals.
Right.
And also I would say what I didn't really expect but was a big transformation was like making higher goals seem realistic. So because I had gone really from like really low baseline of just missed projects to having those higher price projects and then making those packages, like suddenly selling a 7K project or package didn't seem that difficult, or that like it would be a rare thing. It could be something that I did easily.
Absolutely. I love that. So tell us more about, like, you've been through the program, you've completed the program now. What were like the three biggest things, or what were the three biggest benefits that you noticed after joining the program? Like, what were your favorite things about it?
Oh, that's hard. I loved the model on picking a niche, because I think a lot of programs just tell you to look for people who have a problem that you can solve, and then kind of analyze that ideal client avatar and figure out who they are. But you gave us really concrete tips on who to pick in order to reach those income goals, and picking that niche strategically. So it's not just that you're solving a problem, but that you're solving a high value problem for people who can actually afford to pay you for it. So that was really great for me. And this is something I'm still working on, but I realized how much of my messaging was speaking to newbie entrepreneurs,
right.
who are not the right audience for the kind of packages that I want to sell going forward.
Right.
So that's number one. Number two, I would say, was just like the community in the Facebook group. So with you and with Hank and Nicole and the other ladies who were in the course at the same time. I'm in a lot of other huge Facebook groups, but it was really nice to have that like small place to just go and check in with people, and to learn the challenges that other people were having as well.
Yeah.
Because the other girls would ask questions that maybe weren't at the top of my mind when we got on the call, but that I could also benefit from. So that was like a surprising benefit that I really enjoyed. And then of course, like the mindset help was, apart from the packages, the mindset support was one of the main reasons that I wanted to do your program. And I just loved having those 2 calls every week to really focus on like the different areas of what I was struggling with, and to get that like constant feedback about like whatever you're thinking on, and to have an outside perspective is so helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And all of them are like obviously amazing points. But I think what you said at the end about like having somebody to support you in the journey is just so important, because as entrepreneurs, this is a really lonely journey. Like I don't think people actually recognize how lonely it is to be an entrepreneur sometimes, because even if you are in a relationship, or even if you have kids or whatever, right? It's like most of the time, and I notice this with a lot of entrepreneurs that I speak with, it's like nobody really knows how stressful it is to be really like in charge of your income, right? Like unless you're an entrepreneur, you don't really understand how stressful it is, because obviously like your husband or your partner, like they want to be there for you, they want to support you emotionally, they really do want to do their part. But if they have like a regular 9-to-5 job or any kind of income where it's like a steady paycheck, they don't actually understand what it takes to run a business. They don't get it. Right. And it doesn't matter how stressful your job is. Like, it doesn't matter even if you are like a high level, like corporate executive or whatever, you don't really understand, because at the end of the day, the whole thing about being an entrepreneur is that you can see a very direct relationship between what you're feeling, what you're doing, and the outcome that you're producing. And when it's such a direct effect, and that outcome that you're producing is your income for the month, and it can be higher or lower based on your performance, it's like so much real-time feedback that when you're an entrepreneur and you're looking at that real-time feedback, it's almost like you can't lie to yourself. Like there's no place to run and hide. It's just very obvious. But that also makes it a very lonely journey, right? So which is why like having the support of like your coaches, like people who you are hiring to guide you, and also like a community of people who are on the same path as you is just so important. Because if you're trying to do this alone, I really do believe that like 9 out of 10 people will quit too early just because they don't have that group of people around them. Like they don't have the cheerleaders. They don't have people to tell them like, don't quit right now. Like you're 3 feet from gold, or you're like, you're that close to making it happen. You're that close to breaking it through. Like don't quit right now. There are not that many people who will say that, because most of the time, even people who have really good intentions, like your mother or your husband or whoever, they don't know what to say in that situation, right? Because they're almost like, well, if you're in so much pain, why don't you just quit your business and go get a job? Like that's what a lot of people would say.
Yeah.
And they may think that it's like a very well-intentioned thing to say because they love you and they care about you and they just want you to be happy. But they don't understand that as an entrepreneur, that's literally the worst case scenario. Like you don't want to do that. And that's the reason why we're in business, right? So I think it's just about that, like about getting that support. And I'm so glad that that was your experience, because that was definitely one of the high level visions that we had for this program. Like when I was talking to Nicole and Hank at first when they came on board, that was one of the things that I was telling them, which is that number one, I want this to be the most like loving, safe community in the world. Like I want to make sure that we are here for them, we stand up for them, we love them on their way to success. We are not just kind of we are not going to leave them alone on this journey. We're going to stand with them. We're going to lead them to success. And the other thing, obviously, is to create a group of people that's very well curated, right? And that's the reason why, like, I'm still doing calls on my own for enrollment for people who want to come into the program, because I want to be sure that they are up to par. Like, I want to make sure that they have the right attitude. And often, like, I end up telling people, like, literally just yesterday, I had a call with someone and I said, no, sorry, I'm not going to extend an offer to you to join the program, because like his attitude was just completely off the mark just on the first call itself. And I was like, no, like my gut was just like, no, this is not working. And I was like, okay, it's not working. So I just told him like, hey, you know what? I can refer you to somebody else. But we really want to keep the quality of the community really high, because that's important for your experience too, and for everything that you get to learn. So really glad to hear that. So I want to circle back to what you said before, where you mentioned that, like now that you've gone through the program, it feels to you like selling a $7,000 package is like something that can be very regular for you right now, right? Like this is not something that you would not have been able to do it before on your own. And now you feel like this is not like a one-time thing, like, oh my God, if I book a $7,000 package, like maybe I'll book my next one next year. It's not like that. Like you can be able to book that like every week or at least a couple of times a month, right? So what was that biggest thing that changed? Like, was it just more of your own like expectancy around what's possible? Like, what was the biggest shift that happened that changed that?
I think the biggest shift for me was just the number of leads coming in, and because even in my previous business, what I would do is most of my work came from either random Google searches or referrals, like word of mouth. And as soon as I got a big client project, I would just disappear into that project for months.
Yeah.
And I would kind of like have an ear out waiting for the next person to just find me, or hoping that I would get another referral. So when I went through your program and we talked a lot about visibility and just like, especially with Hank and Nicole, the idea that when you're not showing up, you're not only depriving yourself of the opportunities that you want, but you're also like failing your people by not giving them the support that you need. That was a huge mindset shift for me. And then using that shift to start showing up in places where my ideal clients hang out meant that I was getting the stream of leads, and it wasn't a huge slog. I wasn't like, on the one hand, I wasn't chasing them down or spending a lot of time writing cold emails, but on the other hand, I wasn't just sitting back and waiting for them to come to me. I was like putting signs out there saying, hey, like this is what I do. If you're struggling with this, I can help you.
Right. Amazing. I love that. So yeah, I love that shift, and I really think that's such a huge mindset transformation. So good job, really good job integrating that and recognizing that it's not just about you, it's not about your business. Like it's not about Katie making more money. It's about like there's so many people out there who really want an amazing conversion copywriter just like you. Like they want a girl like you on their team, and they're suffering because they don't have you. So it's about like not depriving them of that as well, right? So tell us a little bit more about like what the numbers look like in terms of leads in your business. So like how many leads were coming into your business, say on a weekly basis before, and what is it like now?
I can't even tell you on a weekly basis before, because it was more like on a monthly basis, maybe one or two calls. And also that I was really, I would say I had like, let's say 4 or 5 calls in the first quarter of 2019 and didn't close any of them.
Right.
So I was still, people that I already had relationships with, that was going fine.
Yeah.
I wasn't questioning the quality of my work. I was questioning like, what is going on that I can't communicate it to new people? Like what am I missing here? And one of the biggest differences now has been that by showing up more, the people that I get on calls with are like pre-qualified to want to work with me, because they've seen my expertise, and like they haven't just stumbled across my website, or maybe like found a freebie that I was promoting and want to see what I can answer in a 30-minute call for free.
Right. Yeah.
They're actually interested in working on a project together, and they already believe that I can help them. So when I get on those calls, I don't have to do as much work, because the connection is already there. I also booked my first day rate last week without a consult call. So it was the first time ever like waking up to that notification that like the payment had gone through and the day was in the calendar. So that was really exciting.
Awesome. And how much do you charge for days right now?
My day rate is $1,700 US.
Amazing. And that's not a small amount of money at all, right? Like $1,700 US is like, it's a really good amount of money for a day rate. It's a good job. And yeah, your website looks fantastic right now. And I know you built it over the course of the program itself. And yeah, it looks fantastic. So I'm not surprised at all. But that's so powerful, right? It's like that's so powerful because so many copywriters out there think that that's not possible for them, right? Like they just think that like, no, I have to get on multiple calls. I have to sell my ass off. I have to undercut my rates. I have to, like, there's so many have to's and conditions that we put on ourselves. And we say that we have to go through all of these conditions to be able to have days like that, where somebody just goes to your website, books a day rate, and boom, you have $1,700 in your bank account. And not a lot of people even think that that's possible, but that is really the power of showing up and being in your certainty and being really clear about the value you offer, because of course you're going to blow their mind when they come to their call. And of course you're going to, serve them completely when they show up for their day rate package, and they're going to get what they need for sure. But the fact that this can happen for you so easily and without even a conference call, it's just absolutely fantastic. So I'm so proud of you. And that's really, really a good milestone.
It's so much fun. Yeah. It was like, I showed my husband. I was like, look.
You're like, wake up. I have $1,700 to show you.
Yeah. And I also think, Satya, that, that mindset work of expanding your upper limits of what's possible is so important, because I used to do, like, in addition to my own company, I worked for another company, and I would do these week-long projects with them where we got paid 750 euros at the end of the week. And I kept doing it because it was like, oh, it's like really good, easy money. But at a certain, is this big money? Like it was good to me when I started out with them. But as I started developing my copywriting business and realizing, the higher value work that I could be doing for people, I had to kind of question that belief that like, 25 euros an hour was good pay, and start focusing on, the the work that I'm good at that is worth more to people because it provides more value.
Absolutely. And that is such a good point, because I think so many of us freelancers and solopreneurs, people who are in business alone, one of the biggest mistakes we make is we think that like some money is better than no money, right? Like there's that whole thing. It's like, oh, at least I'm making some money. Like at least I'm making 750 euros a week. At least like, this is good money. Like it's not bad. It's not terrible. I'm not a slave. It's fine. But really, when you dig into it, it's like, are you really here just to scrape by? No. Like, are you here to just scrape by? Are you here to do stuff that doesn't light your soul on fire? No. Like if you're running a business, then just go all in, right? Like do what you love, charge what you're worth, and make a fuck ton of money and make the impact that you want to make. Like that's the whole point of running a business. Like if you're just going to be half-assing it, or, you know, being like halfway dissatisfied, like between satisfied and dissatisfied, making the amount of money that you don't want to make, making really little compared to what you want to make, then you might as well just go get a job. Like if you just want decent amounts of money, then go get a job. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, if that's something that people want to choose, awesome, good for them. But the fact that you're running a business right now means that you really do get to do this your way, and it gets to be 100% satisfying. It gets to light your soul up, and you get to raise that upper limit of what's possible for you. And just like making like 1,700 USD for a day's work gets to be your norm. And when that's your norm, accepting just like a lower pay, or like $25 an hour or $15 an hour just to work for somebody else to get a steady paycheck very quickly becomes unacceptable. And then you're just like, fuck no, I'm not doing this. I'm moving on to bigger things, right? So good job. Good on you for doing that. So let me see what other questions I have, because I have a whole bunch of other questions for you. What did we talk about? I'm just wondering if there's something else I want to circle back on. Okay. All right. So let's talk about this, right? So I know that before you joined, like you've kind of been in my community for a while, right? Before you joined the program. So I'm just curious, like, did you have any concerns before you joined the program? Was there something on your mind that felt like, what if this is not the right time, or something of that sort? And what put those fears to rest before you joined the program?
I knew that I needed to do something. Like I was really, at that time, it was right around my birthday, which is normally when I invest in myself somehow. And I knew that I needed to do something different. I think I had just really reached a point of like, things cannot go on the way they are now.
Yeah.
But I guess my hesitation was about like the money. Just, you know, it was the biggest investment that I had made in my business so far. But then what pushed me past that was just the confidence that I got from speaking with you. And I guess just, you know, really like that faith that this was going to be the start of something new, and like that new chapter where that amount of money wouldn't be a really scary investment for me going forward. That would just be the kind of money that I regularly invest in my business, because that's what's necessary to get to the next level. And yeah, I feel totally confident that was the right choice.
Amazing. I love that. And that's just so true, because I've noticed this in my own business, and obviously everybody who's come into the program, the people who were in the same kind of cohort with you, like people who are going through the program at the same time as you. And I think this is true for all of us, right? It's like when push comes to shove, we all just have to make the decision that we're going to think about it from that next level perspective, right? It's like, instead of looking at it as like from our past, like in the past, we may have had months where we're making $1,500, $2,000 per month, and that's like a really freaky, may have been a very freaky time in our lives. But instead of making this decision about like making a major financial investment in your own business, instead of making it from that place, you look at it from the future and say, okay, if I was making $25,000 a month, is this going to be a big amount of money for me to invest? And the answer is no, because it's just a fraction of that. So when you come from that perspective, it actually helps you leapfrog into your future financial abundance just so much faster. And that's really like the catalyst that makes it happen. Because of course, the reason why we are stuck is because we keep thinking about our past. We keep making references to the past and not to our future. But when we just flip that around, like amazing things get to happen. So I'm so glad that you did. I'm glad that you got the results that you wanted to get through the program. So which leads me to the other question, because I know for a fact that this was not the first program you took, right? You've invested in other programs before. You've taken some courses and coaching possibly from some very well-known entrepreneurs in our space as well. What was the biggest difference for you? Like in terms of the program or the content, what was the biggest difference that you noticed, or what made the difference for you in terms of gaining that confidence, putting yourself out there? Like what was that missing piece that the Biz Reboot was able to put in place for you?
Yeah, so I've done like a few different online courses, and I'm in a couple of like mentorship programs for copywriting. But the biggest difference from any of those communities was just the size of the group. So really having the space on those calls to be able to, ask a question and then ask a follow-up question and really like get that dig into the real problem. You having time to like challenge me on something, or Hank and Nicole like dig deeper into what was behind a statement. And so that time, like how thorough the discussions could be, and then also the personal accountability, because when you're in such a big group, obviously the Facebook groups that go with online courses, there's not really any accountability unless you really seek it out. The mentoring program that I'm in, you can ask direct questions, but there's not a lot of like follow-up, just again because it's such a big group. So I loved that you guys would follow up on things from previous weeks and ask like, how's that going, or have you done this that you said you were going to do? And even when you didn't, it was like just that additional face time. It makes you have to be more accountable, even just to yourself, because it's like, okay, I said this to this person and I said this in this ginormous Facebook group.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think that's so important, right? Because that's one of the things that I love about the program as well, because like if you think about this as a classroom, like when you're in the same classroom as 300 people, it's easy to kind of miss like the last 20 who never show up on a call or whatever, right? But then it's a much smaller group. It's like we know everybody by their first name. We even know their kids' names. Like we know everybody, like everything about everybody. So it's like we're not really, like you're not forgotten in a big group. And that's one of the things that I really love about the program, is that we personally know everybody. And if you are like committed to showing up to the call and engaging, then we're going to answer the questions for you, make sure that you get the support that you need and all of that. So which is awesome. And I'm so glad that you took advantage of that and you were there for pretty much all the calls and you got the benefit of being there as well. So which is great. So one of the questions I had for you was that if you were to recommend the Biz Reboot to your best friend, like what would you say to him or her about it?
I would say that the best part of the Biz Reboot is that you get both the business strategy and the mindset help, because I think that a lot of, I guess when you're working, like because it's you and it's Hank and Nicole. So a lot of programs maybe just focus on the business side of things, just focus on kind of skill acquisition in your niche, or just focus on mindset coaching, healing, that kind of thing. But they're so connected, and it's so important, it's so important to tie them into each other. And I love that you had the Facebook group as a place where both you and Hank and Nicole could comment on the same question, so you could ask a question and have it addressed from both sides. So that's definitely for me like the biggest win for the Biz Reboot, and the basis on which I would recommend it is that combo of business strategy. I loved how your modules really build on each other, and I loved how the work with Hank and Nicole, how we had the group coaching sessions and the individual sessions, so you could also kind of build on your progress throughout the program, and dig deeper into things with them.
Awesome. I love that so much. And I also, from my perspective, one of the things, obviously it's like I love the Biz Reboot. It's my baby. I'm obsessed with it. It's like, it's absolutely amazing. And I remember I told you once, I was like, I think we were talking, we were on a call, and it's like our calls happened pretty late at night, and you were just telling me, oh, we're taking a trip, like you and your husband were taking a trip. And then the next day I literally had a dream about you and I taking a trip. And I was just like, what? I was like, why are my clients in my subconscious mind? This is amazing.
No, and I remember you telling me that, me thinking like, wow, this is what you get with a small program where they really care about you. You get into their dreams.
Absolutely. You're literally hanging out with me in my subconscious mind. And I just thought that was the funniest thing ever because I never like dreamt about a client before, but I was just like I was talking because we had a late night call and then I went to bed and then it was obviously very fresh in my mind and I just thought it was the funniest thing that I was dreaming about that. But I love that about the program too, but also with Nicola Hagen, I love them so much. They're just amazing people and I love having them on my team. And seriously, like they are the simplest, easiest people to work with. They're just such a joy to work with. And I constantly think about, like, when I think about expanding my team in the future, I'm just like, I want everybody to be like Nicola Hagen. Like, that's the benchmark that I have now, which I think is going to be like a very high bar for new people who are coming into the team. But yeah, like, they're just so amazing. I constantly tell them, like, you're not going anywhere. Like, whatever it takes, I'm going to keep you in the Biz Reboot because they're just so fantastic. But I really love the fact that they have distinct personalities and styles of coaching as well, right? And I love that they are so synergistic with each other almost. Like, it's like, I think they switch roles really beautifully. Like some days, like Hank is going to kick your ass and Nicole is going to be really sweet. And other days, Nicole is going to kick your ass and Hank is going to like step back and he's going to, have more of that feminine energy. So I think both of them have such a beautiful dynamic of like masculine and feminine that they bring to each call that I love that they're on the calls together. Because then you get this like very varied perspective and it's beautiful. It's just beautiful being in the same room as them when they coach. And I often go back and watch the mindset calls just for myself because I feel like as you guys are learning, like I am learning things too from the mindset calls. So yeah, I love them. Like they're absolutely one of my favorite parts of the program as well. And just love having them on the team so much. And I know that like literally every single client who's gone through the program absolutely loves and adores them too. So, which is always nice. It's always nice to see that people love them as much as I do. So I have two final questions for you before I let you go and enjoy pool time with your friend. Second last question is what surprised you the most about the program or what made you the happiest about joining the program?
What really surprised me the most and also made me super happy was how much the mindset coaching and then the business the improvements in my business affected my other relationships. So I really wasn't expecting that at all, but like my husband commented that I was in a better mood, and I remember having one call with Hank and Nicole where I just told them like I was out with a girlfriend last night and I felt like I was laughing with more freedom than I had really felt in a while, in part because I was I was having this success that felt so good, and also because it felt like I was doing the work that needed to be done. So when I was off doing other things, I didn't feel this guilt or anxiety about my business. And I was free to really like be present in that moment and just enjoy myself. And that was something that I really I thought that the improvements would be in my business, maybe in my how I felt about my business, but I wasn't expecting it to carry over so much into my personal life and my personal relationships.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. And that's amazing, right? It's amazing how much our mindset really affects like happiness in our day-to-day lives. And that is one of my favorite transformations to watch really in the program as well, because like I remember when I was on that first call with you, right? Like I remember when we were on that enrollment conversation, and I remember like you obviously it's a significant investment that you made in your program. So I'm not discounting that at all. So it was like, you were in a space of like being a little bit tentative, a little bit scared. And then you came into the program and literally like within 3 to 4 weeks, we could see your confidence growing. And Katie, I know it's difficult to notice that because, you're living with yourself, you're kind of working alone all day. So it's difficult to notice that when it's you. But from the outside perspective, it's so obvious. Like it's been the same with you and all the other girls who've gone through the program. It's like when we watch you on the call, it's like your confidence is like radiating from you, like your confidence and your happiness. Like just, you guys laugh, you guys literally look different. Like, I don't know how to say it, but you look different. Like, you look different, you look lighter, you laugh more, you're in that so much of a better energy. And of course, it transforms your other relationships too. So that's beautiful. And I'm so happy to hear that that's happening for you, because really, ultimately, you know what? This is not about the money. Like the fact that we are in the program, yes, you come in and you will make more money, you will get more leads because you do. But it's not about that, because, you know, like money is just like one little tiny piece of your business, right? Like the fact, the inner happiness, the inner peace, the ability to go out with your friends and enjoy your life and have a good time without feeling guilty or anxious, or just like taking that anxiety around money completely off the table, it just frees up your energy to create better things in the world, right? Like to make art, to have a beautiful conversation, to laugh with people. So that is my favorite part of my favorite transformation from the program, 100%. And I'm so glad that you got that, because now that you've got that piece, everything else can fall into place. Yes, of course, you'll make a lot of money in the future, but all of that will fall into place like a whole lot faster when you really have that happiness within you that's kind of radiating into every area of your life. So thank you so much for sharing that. That's really beautiful. And I think, you know what, actually that answers the last question that I was going to ask you, which was like, how do you feel like life is different now that you've gone through the program? But you already kind of answered that, but if you want to add on something to it, please do.
I would just add that the shift that comes with that happiness in other areas has also just been recognizing that everything I learned about mindset in the Biz Reboot transfers to other areas of life. So,
yeah,
you know, if I notice myself like going down a negative spiral in any area of my life now, whether it's like friendships or, I don't know, just regular business stress or anything like that,
yeah.
I can apply the same thinking and the same strategies. So it's been that, you know, like the business shifts, the emotional shifts, but also just that learning of a new way of doing things that will continue to serve me in, you know, in lots of different areas. So yeah, it's been like a much bigger and a much wider transformation than I ever would have expected.
Amazing. I love that. Okay, great. I think it's a beautiful place to wrap up this video, and it's been quite a long video. So thank you so much for taking the time and sharing so openly, Katie. I'm honestly so honored and so humbled to be here to serve you. Really, that's the way I feel about it. And I know you guys know that, but it's really the joy of my heart to be able to do this with you guys. And I have so much fun. And this is my favorite thing to do in the whole world. And this is one of the programs, like, I know it's not going anywhere, because it's just like my favorite thing to do. So it's going to get bigger and better for sure, but it wouldn't be possible if it was not for amazing people like you choosing their dream and committing to going to the next level. So thank you for doing that. And thank you for trusting us to help you create this transformation. And of course, thank you for showing up and doing the work, because I think that is the most important thing, right? Like, if you guys don't show up and do the work, you can't get the transformation. Like, I can give you the best strategy in the world, but you still have to sit your ass down for meditation, because I cannot do that for you, or you still have to change your mind and change the way you're looking at things. But you have been such an amazing client to work with. You're a total rock star. And of course, that's why you're getting the amazing results that you've gotten. And it's only the beginning, right? Like, we're just getting started. And I am so sure that your success story in the future, I'm sure we're going to be recording another video very soon, because we're going to have to update these numbers with all these amazing things that are happening in your business. And I cannot wait to help you make that happen. But yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. I'm so glad that we did this today.
Great. Yeah, no, it's great to talk to you. And yeah, thank you so much for your program. I had such a great time.
Amazing. I love it. So for everyone who's watching, if you want to know more about the Biz Reboot, and if you want to figure out if this is the right fit for you, you can go ahead and book a call. The link to my calendar is satyapurna.com/apply. So just my first name, last name.com/apply. And when you go to that page, you'll see a calendar. You can book a call on that calendar and get booked in. We also have a short application form that you have to fill out, so I know some details about you before we get on a call. And during the call itself, we'll help you figure out if this is the best program for you, if this is the right program for you at this point of time. And if it is, we would love to have you. If not, no worries at all. We'll always refer you to somebody else who might be able to serve you better at this time. So if you want to go book that, it's satyapurna.com/apply. You can find the link to my calendar on my website as well on the top bar. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you so much, Katie, for joining us. I'll be wrapping up this recording for now, and I hope to see all of you guys in one of the future recordings. See you guys soon. Bye.